Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles. The New York Football Giants defeat Washington for the 105th time in the two teams' histories, as told to us by Mike Tirico on the NBC broadcast. That's pretty cool. Both teams came into this game 7-5-1, and the winner, the Giants, are now in the driver's seat to a wild card spot in the NFC. Giants now have an 86% chance of making it, according to 538.com. The Commanders, and we always knew the loser of this game was going to be the Gazelle on the savannah being hunted by the Lions. The Detroit Lions are coming for a wild card spot, and whose spot is it? The Commander's spot. That's what they're looking for. And I thought Washington would win this game. You know, especially just the Giants can't stop the run. Washington runs so well with both Gibson and Robinson, and they did run well. It was just game script. You know, the Giants, like early season magic, just came back where they're not really playing well enough to win, but they just get those really key plays. Though maybe that's not fair. Kayvon Thibodeau had a half. I mean, he was making those plays. He had this, the touchdown. He sacked him, fumbled it, recovered the fumble, and returned the touchdown in the second quarter to give the Giants the lead. And he also, I mean, earlier he had like a tackle where he like blew back Logan Thomas into the runner, and then he also swings around from his own disruption and makes the tackle. I mean, there was some crazy Kayvon Thibodeau stuff happening in this game, and he was gassed a lot, but he was doing some things that you don't see on the football field very often, which I feel good about. I was, the whole draft season, I called Thibodeau the number one pick over Trayvon Walker, over Aiden Hutchinson. The same thing I was saying about Justin Fields. Like, are we sure? Because, I mean, if you talk to anyone who watched college football, Thibodeau definitely the better player. Though I don't think nobody's regretting it right now. The top five of the 2021 NFL draft, Jaguars took Trayvon Walker, Lions took Aiden Hutchinson, Houston took Derek Stingley, the Jets took Sauce Gardner, Giants took Kayvon Thibodeau. They're all feeling pretty good. Nobody's displeased, maybe the Jaguars, but they knew they weren't going to hit the ground running. So anyway, the Giants and Thibodeau made some great plays, and there was some well-placed Saquon Barkley success, some Randy acts of Richie James. I don't know who. I don't know. And the Giants built a 14-3 halftime lead and held on to it through the third quarter. It was 17-12, going, to the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Like, the Giants are holding on. And then the Commanders seemed pretty much to take control. The defense started locking down. Heineke hits Johan Dotson for 61 yards. This deep bomb right down the middle of the field. Great play where he made this just contested catch. Lynn Swan-esque. I mean, he didn't bobble it up or anything, but he just made the adjustment midair. Dotson, man, looking great. But ultimately, that drive came to nothing because Heineke fumbled it from the 5. So, and that's when Saquon Barkley had his moment. So Heineke fumbles that ball. There's there's about 6 minutes left. I should have looked up the exact time, but Saquon Barkley and the Giants, they drive for a field goal using up a ton of the clock. Barkley gets runs of 12, 14, 15. He gets an honorary 7-yard run where they fake it to Barkley and no one goes with Daniel Jones, who runs it for 7 yards. And so credit to the Giants for that, because that could have been nothing. That drive did not have to be the killer drive that it was. They did it on the ground. They used up a bunch of clock. Saquon Barkley's on all the pictures of all the websites. Saquon has a big game. Collinsworth and Tirico are talking the whole time. Like, Saquon Barkley has never played an important game in his career, which is just this like kind of back shot at the Giants. But and he's selling out and he's showing us why he's the superstar he is. Like, okay. On this drive, within the 5 minutes at the runs I told you about, 12, 14, 15. I mean, he had 48 of his 87 rushing yards on the day on that last drive. So, I mean, was it a good game? Or was it a good drive? I'm just wanting some perspective. Did Saquon Barkley really have a good game? Like, I don't think so. And they kicked the field goal, and there was enough time for the Commanders to really tie this game up, or have the chance to tie the game up, because Heineke got them back in a position. Great return by Antonio Gibson, 27 yards to Curtis Samuel, 14 yards to Johan Dotson. And then here's where the Commanders fans tune out because they don't want to hear about this. They're upset at the referees. Third and goal, illegal formation call negates the Brian Robinson potential game tying touchdown. Remember, they had to get the 2-point conversion anyway, but it looked like it was a picky call. You know, he was technically off the line of scrimmage a little bit, but it certainly didn't affect the play and certainly wasn't egregious. 3rd and goal, Giants stop him, goes to 4th and goal, and there's just this insane pass interference from a Giants defender on Curtis Samuel. I don't know. I mean, I know let them play, but this one was okay to call. You know, the referees, I mean, you can call that one. It's so bad. And I think the difference between everyone watching TV and the refs watching on the field is that we can see it way better than you. So the refs should be listening to people who are watching TV. Other referees, New York, they should be feeding down to them and say, no, you can't see it. You're one of the only people in the world who can't see it clearly. Because you're one of the only people in the world not watching it on TV right now. Maybe they just didn't want the Giants and Commanders to tie it up at 20-20. Because that's what happened in week 13. And then both teams played so conservative in overtime. They basically acquiesced into a tie. Maybe because of that, you don't look for the refs to finish your work, and you should have been aggressive last time. Because that's what happened. And I am being funny, by the way. I don't think the NFL is rigged. I think there's incompetence in the referee. I don't think anyone did this on purpose. But my joke is, nobody wanted to see a 20-20 tie because of the way you guys played overtime last time. All right, let's get into the Sunday Best Awards. Mukilteo Football Show shows football everything. NFL history, legacy, ups and downs of a season. Follow us at MUK_football on Twitter or YouTube. Subscribe, share, review on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. We've got shows Monday after Monday Night Football, Thursday after Thursday Night Football, Sunday after Sunday Night Football. And what do we do on Sundays? Week 15 is almost done, and we're going to do some Sunday Best Awards. And Week 15 is kind of spread out this week, and Week 16 will also be spread out from Thursday to Saturday to Sunday to Monday. But this one's just about Sunday, just about what happened today. If you want to hear about the games from Saturday, which, by the way, there were some great ones. The largest comeback of all time, 33-point deficit by the Vikings, and a classic in the snow, Dolphins and Bills. Check out the podcast from yesterday called 33 Points and the Buffalo Snow. For now, some Sunday Best Awards, Week 15. The non-NFL Morning Award goes to the World Cup Final. Argentina versus France. So this is just weird that we had this. What a great weekend of sports this has been. But to be mixing a World Cup Final with NFL football, with like NFL playoff stakes, it's just weird. The World Cup is in the summer. It was just weird, but the game was amazing. The Argentina-France game did everything to appeal to like non-soccer American NFL fans, namely have goals. Nobody wants to see Germany and Spain play for 140 minutes 0-0. This game had exciting goals, clutch goals, tons of excitement, and importantly, legendary performances by two all-timers. 35-year-old Lionel Messi for Argentina, 23-year-old Kylian Mbappe for France. Both played amazing. And in NFL terms, this was like Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers playing in the Super Bowl if they both had career games at the same time and one of them had to win. It's pretty crazy. Or I guess Rodgers already has a ring, so that doesn't quite work. It's more like 1997, the Brett Favre, John Elway Super Bowl, when Brett Favre was this hot young gunslinger winning all the MVPs, and John Elway was the old guard. He'd lost a lot of Super Bowls, never could quite get a title. Pretend that in that game, both quarterbacks had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns each. That was the final between Argentina and France. Pretty cool. All right, next award. I promise all the rest are strictly football related. The oh no award goes to Jacoby Myers and the Patriots. What Maria Taylor on NBC called the unnecessary lateral heard around the world. with seconds to go in regulation, tied. The Patriots handed off to Ramondre Stevenson, who appears to get something going. He's like, that's like a 24-yard run before he laterals it. And he's up to like the Raiders' 30-yard line. He decides to lateral Jacoby Myers, feeling like, oh, we got something going here. Maybe the success. Jacoby Myers runs the desperation play. He's trying to put it back across the other way, across the field. He launches a lateral like 15 yards back to Mac Jones, who has no idea that anything like this is coming. Surely none of this is Belichick authorized. The game is tied. Just kneel down and go to overtime. The announcers even talking about the Stanford band, and as they're not expecting this at all. Myers' lateral goes straight to Chandler Jones, the Raiders defensive end, who immediately stiff arms poor Mac Jones, who's just standing there. And he returns the touchdown as the Vegas Death Star goes nuts with excitement. I was going to say blows up, but that's a sensitive subject when you're talking about Death Stars. So crazy game. The Raiders beat the Patriots. All right, next award. The Pessimist's Delight Award goes to the Detroit Lions. Because, and I've kind of done this already, but Detroit winning games when it seems like maybe they shouldn't have. The Bears game comes to mind. The Lions get to 7-7. It's a story of the NFL. They beat the New York Jets after they got this great touchdown in which, a Lions backup tight end just rolled right through the Jets secondary. The Jets had time to end timeouts to get a field goal to send it to overtime or get a touchdown and win it. And every Lions fan probably in the book thought, here it is. Here's the thing that happens to the Lions. The Jets have Zach Wilson, who is a disgraced bust of a quarterback in year 2, and he's making crazy plays on 3rd and 18, and setting them up for a 58-yard field goal. Now, normally you'd think, oh, good, we did a good job. Lions fans were certainly thinking this 58-yard field goal set up from a prayer from Zach Wilson to the kicker of Greg Zuerlein, despite Robert Saleh's bizarre clock management. Get off your high horse, Robert Saleh. Okay, quit blaming everybody. You screwed that up for the Jets. But the kick was wide. But my point is, and many people reinforce this on the internet, no Lions fans thought that the Jets were going to miss that kick. But they did. The Jets are in trouble, though they get a break because the Patriots lost as well. And the Dolphins, of course, lost as well. The Lions, oh boy, they have got a real shot at the playoffs. This is really interesting. It's going to be fun last 3 weeks. All right, next award. The Capybara Award goes to the Tennessee Titans because they are being hunted by the Jaguars, which apparently is a common prey for the Jaguars. Lions are hunting the Gazelles, Capybara being hunted by the Jaguars. It's a very nature-based show today. My point is that the Titans are in the sights of the Jacksonville Jaguars after they lost 17-14 to the Chargers, and the Jaguars had a thrilling overtime win over the Dallas Cowboys in which they had to come back down 17. They forced overtime, and then they won on a tipped play, pick six. Sorry, Dak. These two things brought more reality to something that seemed unheard of. You know, the Titans had no idea they were the prey, that they were the capybara. On Thanksgiving, the Jaguars were 3-8. The Titans had beaten the Packers. They were 7-3. Now the Jaguars upset the Ravens. They upset the Cowboys. They thumped the Titans. They are 6-8. The Titans are on a 4-game losing streak. They are 7-7. Only one game ahead of the Jaguars, and they play in week 18. And the Titans don't look good. Like, Derrick Henry continues to put up big numbers. It's the most confusing thing in the NFL to me right now. He has 160 yards. Yet, the Titans had 7 points throughout all of his production. 7 points. It's almost like teams are just saying, get Henry his stats, so be it. We're not going to let you turn it into points. We know how to let you just get the stats and not the points. And the announcers aren't getting it. Near the end of the game, the Titans, they actually turn to the air. Tannehill hits passes of 28-17, gets the Titans to the 1 yard line. They're down 14-7. They've scored 7 points all day. It's near the end of regulation. They need a touchdown to tie. And the announcer says, you got to do 2 runs to Henry. The Chargers have been unable to stop that today. I guess. The Titans have 7 points right now. So let's not bash the Chargers defense too much. The Titans have 7 single-digit points right now. Is Henry really having that great of a game? They score on a Tannehill sneak. Then the Chargers show why having a quarterback is much more valuable. Justin Herbert, just sublime stuff to Mike Williams, sets up the field goal for the Chargers, who make it. I think the Jaguars are going to do this. Trevor Lawrence had 318 yards, 4 touchdowns versus Cowboys. It's pretty crazy. I am really rooting for that Week 18 game to end up being just a playoff game between Jaguars and Titans. All right, next award. The reset the game. What is the? I need to think of a better award name for that. Just like reset the table. There's probably a gambling thing for it, but reset the game back to 1. The Chargers have an 80% chance to make the AFC playoffs. Can they do it? Because last year, they also had an 80% chance to make the playoffs, and they didn't. They lost to the Houston Texans and then famously to the Raiders in overtime in Week 18, and they had some other bad stuff happen to them. If the Chargers collapse again, I will renew my call for Justin Herbert. Get out of there. Don't be a Rivers. Don't be a Fouts. Or even before that, John Hadel. The Chargers have spent almost all of their history with great quarterbacks and nothing to show for it. So they've got it in their sights. All the pieces are set up. Chargers, you got 3 more games against easy opponents. At least Steve Kornacki's showing the win probability on NBC.com or CNN or wherever the heck he is. You got to do it, Chargers. You got to get Justin Herbert into the playoffs. Man, I would love a Herbert Mahomes playoff game. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow for some more detailed winners and losers of Week 15, and we'll review what seems to be a pointless Monday night game between the Packers and the Rams. But we'll talk Week 15. We're going to talk Chiefs 7th division title. What the heck's going on in the NFC South with the 6-8 Buccaneers and the rest of the division at 5-9. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about those things tomorrow. My name is Miles, and a good night.